Well, good afternoon. Here we are again. It's Saturday, the 17th of April 2021, and it's a big day in the Virtual 9-Ball World Championships. We had a very early match, or a very late match, this morning at 1 a.m. on the winner's side, a round 3 match between Stubb, Real Poland Power, and Interchange X. The outcome of that is on YouTube. We have the first match of this afternoon's matches. As you can see, this is a winner's side match. Well, it is anyway. It doesn't say it there, but it is. It's between MC McClarkey and Snake Eyes. I think it's an all UK affair or an all England affair. McClarkey, he's definitely UK. Snake Eyes has just arrived in the lobby, and he's from England as well. So this is a race to 19 coming up. It's about to start in about 5 minutes time, just over 5 minutes. There is an extra match that fits in between this match and probably the main match of the day, and that match is at 3 p.m. British Summer Time between VP Mongoose or VP Monster and Mr. Strocum, and that match is a one-loss side match at 3 p.m. race to 13. Then we've got the big match of the day, which is between Mr. Bill from the USA and Mal 255 from England, and that's again a winner's side match at 6 o'clock tonight British Summer Time, and Bill's got a tall order he's got to cut out the unforced errors. Well, everybody does, but more so in this match, because Bill has to take everything he can get, because Mal certainly proved he will do that in his match against Albinario. He's looking very strong. And then this match will clash with the second match tonight, which is between LS3 and Bedhead. That should be very interesting to watch. We won't see all of it. We may well see some of it. Bedhead has looked good so far, and that starts an hour later after the Mr. Bill Mal match. So, well, I did get a few hours sleep. I think I went to bed at 2:30 this morning or just after it. Once the Stubb Interchange X match was over, and I think it was up about 7 a.m. this morning. So I wouldn't suggest and describe that I'm bright and breezy, but I've watched a bit of the first round of the World Championships this morning, the World Snooker Championships, and now I'm all set for some 9-ball. Now, Snake Eyes is a capable player, and on the day could probably be competitive enough to cause McClarkey problems, but again, it's all about being minimalistic as far as unforced errors are concerned, and more importantly, when you get that chance given to you, you've got to take it. That could be just the difference between the two, but I suppose over the longer distance, MC Clarkey is going to be the favourite, because again he'll go for his shots as well. But you know, when you are being aggressive, you've got to get them, and when you don't get them, that other guy must make the most of it. You can't be asking for 2 and 3 chances to win frames, racks anyway, not frames. Snooker's going through my head. You're not going to get them as you go deeper into the tournament. You know, it becomes a tougher and tougher ask when you really have to find that higher level of consistency. So we will see. that's the enjoyment of watching things, because anything really can happen. There can be any outcome. There's always that possibility. If somebody's brake starts working good for them during the match, and they might get to run a few racks, you know, it could open a lead that might be vital come the business end of the match. Lots can happen, but make the most of what you get would be the order of the day for Snake Eyes. So, it's about a minute and a half to go. We had a bit of a drama, shall we say. I can't remember what match I was watching, but there was matches overriding Friday Night 9-Ball, and then once the match had finished that we were watching last night, we then looked to go in and catch the end of the final of Friday Night 9-Ball, and when we went to do it, the match was over. There was a forfeit, there was handbags at 12 paces, and it was between Larry and Semi-Pro, so there was a bit of a drama going on. We've also had the other drama going on about Shooters Pool Pro, and Shooters Pool Pro on the one loss side and Mr. Fox need to get the match played tonight by 8 PM or one of them is going to forfeit, and it looks as if that may well be the case, because Mr. Fox doesn't seem keen to play this person. I think the main debate is between themselves. I don't want to get involved in it. So we're here to watch pool, not to watch arguments. So, the room should be going up any second, and they will lag for break. Race to 19, winner breaks. If the 9-ball goes in a break, it's a golden break, you win the rack. Jump cues are on, all the standard rules apply to 9-ball in this tournament. And the room has gone up, and in we go. We've already got the cloth the right colour, and we're all set. Well, I think Ronnie's not inspired a great deal by the guy that he's playing either. I think that's part of the problem. Mark Joyce is not offering up a great deal of threat so far. So we've had the lag, and MC Clarkey has won the lag and will break off. So here we are, race to 19. And it's yet another dry break to start us off proceedings. So welcome everybody so far. I take it you heard me talking about the drama last night, the drama in Friday Night 9-Ball, the drama from Mr. Fox. That ranted on for a good hour or so last night, and it may well continue. Well, you know, I was about to go in to watch the final between Larry and Semi-Pro, and Larry had a fallout with Semi-Pro, and you know, all sorts of things going on last night. And it ended up with I think Semi-Pro forfeiting the match, so I never got to see the end of that match. Once our live stream matches had finished. So that spoiled the end of the night. And then I think I can't remember what time I went to bed at, but I think it was about midnight I got to bed, so I had about an hour's sleep and got up for Stubbs' match. And that was 1 o'clock, and it was after 2:30 in the morning when I got back to bed. So we're glad that Friday night's passed, and today we're looking forward to some good quality 9-ball. And well, these are the chances that come few and far between as you go deeper into this tournament, and it's what you make of them. Well, I mean, have you watched the match from last night yet, or have you watched any of it? Um, Stubb is now at the top of the Racks Run leaderboard. He's now one rack in front of Cobra, and the gist of the match last night was that Interchange X, who is capable, I don't think there's an awful lot of doubt, and it went the way I thought it would go, as far as Interchange X would offer up a better bit of opposition than what Stubb got in his first two matches, because he's way too high class at 9-ball than his first two opponents, and Interchange X being, from what I know, a predominantly 9-ball player, although maybe does not get to play it an awful lot, but he is from the States and may well play during the night when I don't see him. But there was poor safety by Interchange X, and there was throwing away of opportunities. Again, the cardinal sin that you cannot do if you're going to survive to any great length in this tournament, let alone any 9-ball tournament. You have to get rid of those unforced errors, and Stubb was under no pressure for any appreciable length of time, and just stretched away in the end, and it was a comfortable win again. The surprise last night was Larry getting hot under the collar with semi-pro. I think made a comment about Larry getting a 7-ball, which of course everybody knows Larry doesn't need a 7-ball, but that's not Larry's problem. It's not Larry's fault getting the 7-ball in the final. That's just the way that the handicap works according to the ratings. We all know that's not fair, especially when you've got players that are 2,200, 2,300, and then they come up against a player whose rating has slipped down a bit, but they end up still getting a money ball. And I think Larry took it the wrong way. Larry normally doesn't usually reveal an awful lot, but he blew off last night, and well, the way I look at it, well, if he blew off last night, then hopefully that's good for him, because I think he's realised, looking at the bracket, who he's got to play next. And the problem for Larry is he's going to have to play the hot favourite for the tournament, or the second hot favourite, depending on your opinion. He's going to have to beat Cobra. And the worst of it is, if Larry's going to have any chance of winning this tournament, he's going to have to beat Cobra or Mal possibly twice to do it. So it's a tall order for Larry to win this. If you look at the stats, and again the stats don't lie, shot percentages are what tell you as to who's best at getting onto that ball, and the top two players are at the top of the leaderboard for that one particular reason. They move the ball very well, and consequently they pop more balls than everybody else. And Mal and Cobra, Albinaria will have moved quite a ways into that. They're all in the high 80s percentage, but there's a whole bunch of other guys that are 10% lower than that, and those guys are the ones that are good, strong players, but they've got to find that higher level of consistency if they're going to challenge the two favourites. So in a sense, the pressure's beginning to show through the tournament as it builds up and it builds up. So today's going to be a good day, I've got a feeling. And also, while I'm on the air, I want to wish happy birthday to Steve Chaplin. He must be about 75 by now. It's his birthday today. And the little billiard, I don't know whether he played the combo there, but he certainly got the billiard off the 9. And I'll have a quick drink. Oh, hell, there you go. Now, that's a very narrow gap to try and squeeze down the rail, and so McClarkey's looking for the jump stick to get the job done. And that's what happens when you end up too close. So once again, these are the prime opportunities that you cannot afford to waste. Snake Eyes with ball in hand and 1-0 down, and has to get down and up the table twice here. Pot the 5, go over to the right and have a decent angle in the 6. Pot the 7, get back up for the 8. Pot the 8, get back down for the 9. And everything is being done at distance, which always makes it more difficult. And my PC now has been on for 72 hours. Playing games. I was playing Formula 1 yesterday. And I think it's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I have got myself into the lead in that Grand Prix, and I'm in the pits to do my second and final pit change when I saved it. So I've got something to finish off in that game. I think I'm about, where was it? I've started a season. Of course, as I say, when I do something like that, I do it full-blooded. You know, all the practice laps, all the R&D, and then of course a full race. This is 57 laps. I've got about 20 laps to go. I'm in the pits to get my final tyre change, and then I think what happened in the previous race, I had something similar where I'd managed to get. No, what it was I finished first in the grid, but then I got penalised five places because I bloody hit somebody, or I had a collision in the qualifying. And then I managed to chase him down. There's a 9 ball in the break for Snake Eyes. There's a little bonus. Managed to chase him down, ended up in the lead with a few laps to go. And then the next thing you know, and this is where the tyres were beginning to go, I was beginning to lose it in corners, and I was beginning to get caught. And then the next thing you know, even though I was still in the lead, there was a bloody safety car, and that done me, because I then decided during the safety car to go and take that tyre change, and I think I ended up finishing about 6th or something. And then I've hardly played Formula 1, and I play it with the Xbox controller. Believe it or not, I find I can drive a lot better with the Xbox controller than I can with the steering wheel in that game, for some strange reason. But I'll tell you, partially the reason is, as I've said before, I just cannot be arsed configuring the steering wheel with all sorts of settings to get it right. I just haven't the patience to do it. I'd much rather pick up and play, which you can do with a gamepad. The gamepads aren't always the best thing for driving games, but F1 drives actually pretty well with an Xbox controller. So it does. Anyway, that's enough waffle from me. Snake Eyes has got himself where he would want to be, managing to tie the match up and then getting the golden break in rack number 3 to get the lead. Well, I mean, the actual the game recognises my steering wheel no problem, and it configures all the buttons. It's just adjusting the force feedback and all of that stuff. I can't be bothered with it. I just don't have the patience, and I don't take driving games that seriously to to waste my time, my valuable time, messing about with it enough. I'm very much a pick up and play with driving games and racing games. Not so much with Euro Truck. I mean, Euro Truck, I can easily set my wheel up for Euro Truck because I've done it for umpteen years and it's so easy to configure all the buttons. It only takes me 2 minutes to do it because I've got a picture in my mind exactly what buttons use for what in Euro Truck. I've actually got Euro Truck and American Truck uninstalled out of Steam at the moment. Because I've had a heck of a lot. I mean, I had a huge amount of mods in each mod folder for those two games, and I've emptied a lot. Which, and I think the main reason I've done that is because Iberia has just been released for Euro Truck, and I'm waiting till it comes on offer on some of the external websites before I buy it, and then that'll then, once it's installed, it'll lead me into getting all the different map combinations installed again. Yeah, Formula One will drive pretty good, but once you set your wheel up a bit better, I just find that the force feedback's a bit heavy on it, and I just messing about with force feedback and everything, I can't be bothered. So the occasional time I go back to Formula One, it's much easier just plugging the Xbox controller in and using it, just for convenience. So we are 2 racks all, a long way to go, and Snake Eyes looking to find the little gap to chip onto this one ball. Plenty of room there to do that. Got to be careful this cue ball doesn't squirt over behind the 9 and 5 though, because the line is that it's going to spin around and end up over that side. Well, he's made sure he hasn't done that, but he's ended up dead square in the 2. Well, there's not enough time in the day to do it the way I do it. I don't see the point in doing a Formula 1 Grand Prix race over 12 laps when it's meant to be 72 laps. You know what I mean? I think that's, if it's a simulation game, then the way I see it is you do it as a simulation of the real thing. You have to go the distance. Well, this is a bit nasty, but this is what you've got to be in these tournaments. You've got to be mean and nasty. All on the table, all legal and above board. Well, it's did everything but hit the actual 2 ball, hasn't it? And MC Clarkey could be in trouble here because Snake Eyes is looking to hide this. Now he needs to get the right spin on this to go inside off that rail at the top there and get behind the 8 and the 4. If you don't get the English on it enough, and if you hit the 2 too thick, you won't get there. That spin has to work, and that goes down as a poor shot. With ball in hand. Or did he have ball in hand here? I can't remember now, but he may well find himself in trouble now after MC Clarkey's finished. And once again, you have to be a bit more aggressive with the cue ball and take the risk of leaving the 2 on, but that's not bad. Even though he's not got behind the 8 and 4, he's still got that other line of balls acting as the cover. I don't know whether this is a great line for this. No, it looked too narrow. And well, Snake Eyes is going to be in 2 fouls in a minute if this gets played right. There's no value in trying to do something with the 3 ball at the moment. He's looking at the 3-8, I think, maybe as a combo, but I think it's far easier to get a very tight safety and put Snake Eyes in trouble here. Now, is there a line on that side rail? Yes, there is. And again, that's not a particularly great safety. You shouldn't be giving your opponent that chance there. You've got to get the cue ball locked up tighter. And this is going to end up being a tactical battle here. And again, the cue ball should be hidden away in close to that 4 and 8 ball. Or go the other way, send the 3 into that corner and run up the top end. Well, he's banked it. It's a sort of 2-in-1 shot, that. But again, it's going to be an ambitious combo if he's going to try and keep himself at the table. Now, you see, this one again is not great because there's a chance of kicking this 4 ball in. And that's unbelievable that Snake Eyes couldn't even hit the 4. That was a pretty poor effort. And the only lifeline that he's got at the moment is that 6 and 9 ball, the way they're sitting. It's there's still work to do for Mr. MC Clarkey, or McClarkey as I'm going to keep calling him, because I can't be bothered remembering to say MC Clarkey. Now, what sort of doubt has he got in his mind about the moment? Is he trying to take a risk here and break these two? Or, well, he's certainly not doing that. And he's got a bank. Well, maybe not, looking at where the 7 ball is. He's looking at the line for the 5 and the 7. Cue ball's going to be running around, and he's not taking the risk. Well, again, probably the wiser choice there. Although this 5 is on, and cue ball, I think, will miss the pocket. You see how close he was? Just hit that knuckle. And of course, if he takes the pot on here, he's running away up the table, well away from the 6 ball. He'd be far better banking the 5 and just running the cue ball and looking to hide here. Because if you bank the 5 like that, you can run off there and down here. Well, he's gone the other way and he's banked the 5 into the middle. So it's going to be a lock-up job, because now he's in perfect position to lock this tight. But again, you've got to stun that. The problem with stunning it is you're running the 6 ball a bit more, but you're probably more likely to get that cue ball tighter to the 9. And it's an easy kick again here. Well, we had another easy kick there for Snake Eyes, but he completely missed it. There's no reason not to hit this. And that's going to be on, unless he gets cover, and he might well have. You went into VP4 in safe mode just now by mistake, and now your graphics are fuzzy. Well, all you need to do is just go into you go into settings, get into graphics, and just set it to what your desktop resolution is. That should solve it. And it's not going off when hitting the Windows tab. What's no... Now wait a wee minute here, hold on before you do anything. What do you mean by fuzzy? Because are you talking about actually being in a game and playing it while you're watching this stream, or are you actually watching it on the stream and it's fuzzy? just so that I know where you're coming from. You're actually talking about being in game in a room and looking at the quality of the pitch you're getting. You haven't been messing about with the 3D settings in NVIDIA, have you, again? I keep telling people not to touch that, especially where VP4 is concerned. So Snake Eyes goes into the lead. But the main thing is to make sure that whatever resolution you get your desktop set at, that the game's set to that. Well, Snake Eyes is a 2-ball in the break, but no shot. Oh, did you not say he's already done that? Well, Snake Eyes might be put back in here. I don't know whether... yeah, he has. He's been put back in. And that was always asking for trouble, trying to play a safety shot at that pace, and the double kiss has left a 1 on. Again, you know, we've seen far too many players doing the cardinal sin of playing a half-hearted, badly thought out attempt at a safety shot, and Interchange X did that last night. We've seen loads of other players doing it, and basically just sacrifice themselves to the lamb. Let lambs to the slaughter, I think that was the phrase I was looking for. You know, in the end it's not being very competitive, just playing such a weak safety. And it's given MC McClarkey a chance to square the match again. Now this is going to have to be just punched in, get the spin working, and that is pretty good. But this is all coming about from a very, very poorly thought out safety from Snake Eyes, you know, and goodness me, McClarkey again trying to spin up the table, but taking liberties with that 6-ball. You can't afford to do it, and this is going to be a sore one if Snake Eyes can get this done. Can he see enough of that? Well, yes he can, just to get it in. He can just get to it and no more, I think. He certainly can get it past that 8. But the spin on it to do it has just killed it, stone dead. And this 8-ball isn't going anywhere fast, especially with the line that Snake Eyes has got for the pot. But the other issue is that he's very close to the rail, but the pot would be that. And the cue ball's going that way, or maybe going that way, depending how much he puts on it, but he's not going to be in any great position on this 8, even if he potted the 7. So I wish we could try other surfaces online. What does that mean? Love the clay in... Alright. What tennis are we talking about? Is this virtual tennis or something? Alright, aye. Well, that's exactly roughly where I thought Snake Eyes was going to finish. I mean, the 7 ball was difficult enough to deal with. Now, what's he looking at? I played the combo and that was excellent. And that is a sore one for McClarkey to take there, because he took a liberty with that 6 ball. And when you do that and you miss, and you then end up paying the ultimate price. And he's now 2 racks behind. Snake Eyes, though, has scratched on the break. And McClarkey's going to have to maybe try a 1-2 combo here, although they're tight together, to get started in this rack with ball in hand. Or can he squeeze it past? Oh, right, well, I didn't think it was, I thought it was too close, but he can get it. Well, again, he could have played that better. This cue ball running right over to that corner pocket off this line. Yeah, he's going to, if he doesn't attempt to do anything with it, he's going to head straight over that side. So he's managed to draw away and get a shot, but the pressure's on now to deliver this rack. You know, he's trailing by 2 racks, and this is where you have to step up to the plate. Now, is that going to, I think it's going to stay okay. Oh, any further to the right and he was ended up behind the 6, but he's fine. Got a good angle. It's all about controlling that pace. Now, if he doesn't like the line this is taking, is he going to try? Yeah, he's just trying to come down this side, but has he hit it enough? He hasn't got there. And again, this is how chances end up going a-begging. You know, there wasn't really a difficult ball as long as you can manoeuvre the cue ball. Oh, he's managed to kick it in. What a bonus that turns out to be. But he's going to have to make another good one. Well, it's got to be the bank. And he's got to give it 2 chances. Well, he's only given it 1 because the pace isn't there. And if that stays out from the rail slightly, then Snake Eyes, well, I think it's ended up almost frozen to the rail. It might as well be, and this is really difficult. Well, I think it was probably the wisest move in trying keeping it safe, but it's given a little bit of bait here. Now, is MC Clarkey going to take it? The answer to that is yes. Again, he's trying to get them dead on line, these banks, and they ain't going. He's only given it enough pace to get to the first pocket. Not giving it enough to cross the table and get into the other one. So he's got away with it though, more or less, because this is not easy. But if it goes in, could be a vital one. It's not going to get there, but it's going to be safe. That was a 2-in-1 shot. Good thinking, the pace that he's played it. If he misses the 6, it's ended up there. He would have been on the 7. And as it is, well, Clarkey's got no shot, and this 6 ball's going to be on. And it's off the rail slightly, so strong favourite for the rack now. Just get out over to the right side, roll the 7 in. Maybe have to, well, got to get off the rail here, because unless you can jack up slightly and stun this in to try and kill the cue ball, the cue ball's going to get away here if you just play it plain ball. You're going to end up more squaring the 9 and make the pot more difficult. He's going to have to be 100% on this. Got to get the stop on the cue ball. You see, even doing that, it still squirted away slightly. It needed a bit more dig, that shot, but this is vital. And Snake Eyes is opening up a gap now. 5 racks to 2. And McClarkey going for those banks. You know, these are shots when there's always an alternative, and he's paid the price for taking them on. You know, he's trying to be positive, trying to be aggressive, but you know, Snake Eyes is no really a mug to be doing that against. Now, is he going to try a billiard from the 1 on to the 9 here, or a billiard from the 1 into the 9 and then into the pocket? That's a good shot. At some point, if you end up going far enough in these tournaments, you end up getting your test. Somebody's going to start asking questions of you. And McClarkey's first task is getting back on level terms. So for any latecomers, we've got an additional match that I don't know how soon it went onto the bracket, but there's an additional match this afternoon on the 1 loss side, which is scheduled to start at 3 o'clock British Summer Time. And I remember who one of the players is, I just don't remember who the other one is. I think it's Mr. Strocum is the other one. And it's against VP Mongoose. That will be at 3 PM. It's scheduled, which provided Mr. Strocum's from Canada or the USA, certainly VP Mongoose is, that would mean it's like a breakfast time match for those two guys. It'll be like 9 AM. Yeah, they're going to have a 1 minute silence at the Crucible. Oh dear. There speaks a man full of confidence. But MC Clarkey back to within 2 at the table. Ball in the break, the 2 ball has gone. And just looking to hide the cue ball, but it's not hidden well enough, so easy escape here for Snake Eyes. Well, you know what to do, Potman. Know your limitations, and don't try and pot your way. Don't try and pot your way to victory when it's not the wisest thing to be trying to do every time. Play with a bit more common sense. You know, all the basic standard rules apply, but above all, don't be one-dimensional. Think of the value of a certain shot and whether it's worth taking on and whether you can do any damage by taking that ball on and potting it, or whether you can do the easier option, which is probably put a lock-up safety. Oh, there's Happy Larry arrived. Good morning. Now that's just going to finish, well, just a wee bit close to the rail, but just get that cue jacked up. There shouldn't be a problem. Just come back an inch. And, well, no sign of panic here. No reason to be any panic, but just trying to steady the ship. So, Stubb is the man to catch at the top of that top 10 leaderboard. He's now in 20 racks ran, but he should be caught. He should be caught by the end of the day by someone. It probably won't be Mal. Even if he has a good match, it's a tall order for Mal to. I think he's is he in 5 or something like that? Bear in mind he's only played one match. It's a very tall order for Mal to get there. But I think Bedhead can certainly improve his position. Bill's going to have to be on top form if he's going to stand a chance to create problems for Mal. And I think the worst thing about Mal is his break in that first match. Whereas Larry breaks, well, you know, if you're going to try and break properly, most of the, I mean, here's an example that just came into my mind there. Interchange X this morning did one break. I don't know whether it was his first break. It may well have been. I can't remember. It was that late and I was half asleep. But Interchange X broke last night, and he broke with the cue jacked up higher than most people would do it. And during the testing of EP4, me and John Slingblade did a lot of messing about, testing, jacking up, and playing the break to try and get that cue ball to stall in the middle of the table. You know, the cue ball's going to bounce off the pack, it's going to bounce into the air and drop down, and try and kill it and keep it in the centre of the table. And Interchange X had one break where he tried that, but the problem with it is, yeah, you get it wrong, you're going to fly the cue ball up off the pack, but it's going to have forward momentum, which then just takes it straight over the pack and off the table, and that's what he did. And Mal was doing something similar, but not jacking the cue up. So Mal was putting lots of top in his cue ball. And as Steve mentioned in the commentary in that match, it's never a good idea to run forward towards the pack when you're breaking a 9-ball. You're trying to get that cue ball away from the pack so that it's not running into traffic that's crossing the table when the balls are going around the angles in either corner pocket down the bottom, and then they're running across one another. The cue ball enters the traffic, the cue ball can get kicked into the middle pocket. And Mal's break, if all I'm really saying is if Mal can work on his break, it'll be deadly if he starts getting balls and gets that cue ball in the open, because his break was pretty poor for the most part, I think, which is why he didn't really get a great momentum, but he's got a good rhythm when he gets in, but he could have been a lot more lethal had that break been better. and I don't want to spread any word, any alarm for Bill, but Bill just has to hope he continues to break the same way and it doesn't work as well for him, for Mal. But anyway, Snake Eyes back to a 2-rack lead, and I think that little kiss on the 9 there for Matt. Will we call him Matt? Because that's his name anyway. Is he trying to just punch? I think he can just punch it and lock the cue ball. Yeah. Oh, it's going to kiss it. Oh, there's just enough of it showing. Now, the obvious path off this cue ball here, if you can avoid the 4, if you can skim that 2 with a bit of right English, maybe get that cue ball down to here, to somewhere down by that 6 and whatever the hell it is, the 3 ball that's down there. And the line's going narrower, but that's not bad, because he's not left it on. And is that hindered there right next to the 3? No, I didn't get down quick enough. Well, you should never ever have that field of view, Pop Manny. You're talking about zooming away out again. That's ridiculous. It's a nasty bad habit you've got, but God knows how long you've had that. But that's something you want to get. I mean, you watch any of these guys playing, there's no way they're playing. Mal's probably the closest that you'll see on his videos when he's playing. And for a lot of players, that's no good, because they like a wider field of view where they can see where the other object ball is if they can. That's another good one from Matt. Snake Eyes out with the recovery stick. Oh, now, if that 2 ball keeps running, well, that's a combo if ever I've seen one. It looks like it to me. It's dead set. So, Matt out with the jump stick. So, a 2-3-6 combo. And look at where the 2's ended up. That's the only thing with those shots, you haven't the foggiest idea where things are going to end up. And now he's got himself a very thin edge in this. He may well give this a blast, try and cut it. Yep, he's just caught it in the way up, I think. Just actually very difficult to get flush first time. But this is still a tough first shot, but it is an opportunity here for Snake Eyes to stretch the gap again to 3 and start, once it gets to, if this gap keeps going for Snake Eyes till he gets to double figures, then things begin to hot up. That double figure target is the first thing to get to. And if you can get there with 2 or 3 racks to spare as a gap between you and your opponent, it does apply the pressure more. It's a figure that they see in that HUD that they don't want to grow. He's got work to do here as well with this one. Got to miss the 9, and that looks nice to me. That is a nice pace. Now, this is the problem, is the angle on this 7. Does he want to really baby this in dead weight to stop that cue ball coming out? Or does he want to go full-blooded? He's going to try and just let it roll in. And that's not a bad result. I mean, he should be getting this no problem. It's just a little kill, a little stop shot on the cue ball just to stop it running away and drop that 8 ball in. That's a good idea, that, Larry, but again, talking about having patience to do things, I couldn't be asking in and messing about and doing that in the offline version. But certainly, it's but the other, you know, you've got to, but I think, you know, to set yourself up to do these things, you have to admit that you've got problems with certain shots. Things that you need to work on. But is that Steve Dakin? Is he not get practice drills as well as his training videos? Is there not practice drills in VP4 offline? I don't know whether there is or there isn't. You know, like patterns that you can try and pick your way through. You know something? If we had mod makers, like, you know, a lot of the big games have. I mean, Euro Truck's a prime example of that. You know, the games kept going by all the mod makers. If we had good practice drill makers, you know, they could have certain practice drills that you can put into the offline version. Just add it as a file or whatever, and have them uploaded on the Celeris VP4 site to download them. But then again, how far would Celeris want to go to actually do something like that? But nevertheless, Snake Eyes is 3 racks in the lead. 5 practice drills. Well, there I've learned something today because I haven't the foggiest. Where's this cue ball going? He's going to be locked out, I think. Well, it's an easy kick. I don't think there's any great deal of value in trying to jump that. You're better just giving it a swash off the rail and riding your luck as usual. Give it a good belt and just hope that where the 3 ball is going to leave things awkward. Oh, that I thought that kiss in the 7 there was going to send it behind the 4, but it's now finished with the 2 very adjacent to the 3, and Matt should be out here. Well, he's put it this way, he's got to be. He's 7-4 behind. He can't be messing up this. And no problem here, he's just rolling through for the 4 into the right middle. Doesn't need to have any angle. And this is the one that's going to be the important one. Just dropping it in dead weight. Pretty straight in the 5, so that means he's either going to play a confident little draw to get onto the 7. Well, he's done the right thing there. He's overhit it because he's got it into the middle instead. You know, that works both ways. You overhit it, you're far better doing that because you've still got another pocket as an alternative. So that's 1 rescued. Well, I think that well, if McClarkey starts getting his break going and getting on a ball like that, he could be back into the match very quickly. He could be back on par as soon as you blink, because again, this table is begging to be ran out. And this is where Matt is a far stronger player, I think. The only thing that always worries me slightly is the pace, but because you are going to make more mistakes going at it a bit faster, but that's what he feels works for him better. Now here's the one. 4 ball's going to be long, and the angle on this 4, I think you can just stun it in and hold for the 7. Yep. That's simple enough. Simple enough 7. Simple enough 8. Get the cue ball out, or kill it to play that 9 across the table. Whatever's the best. It looks as if it's going to be coming out. No. The thing is, Popman, you're better off, what you're better off doing is, right, you're better off, here's my advice, right, now take it or leave it, and this is coming from a guy who has installed and uninstalled VP4 to get it working properly and done it umpteen times, especially to get that login bug fixed, where it doesn't save your password on the opening screen. The best thing to do is, right, is uninstall everything VP4. That's the first thing to do. Go into your account name, so whatever that name is, whether it's Popman on your computer or whatever, go into the C drive, find an app data, and if you can't see app data, go into the view tab at the top and check in the little box that allows you to see the hidden files and folders, and the app data will appear. Going into that, finding Celeris, and deleting everything Virtual Pool 4 that you can find. When you've done that, then what you have to do is go to the external VP4 website, log into your account as normal. Yeah, well, the thing is, if you've got an uninstaller program, I've got that uninstaller program, and it also takes any registry folders that have been left. It tidies them up. You can get that 10-bit uninstaller, it is free, and it'll do that. It always deletes any remaining files. But if you do the app data one, certainly, and then go into your account on VP4, as I show you here. Hang on a minute, where the hell am I going? If you go into your account and go to well, you don't need to go to your account, you just need to log in to VP4. Go to support, go to downloads, and then if you hit view, now you're only going to have one of these, whereas I've got 2, and I explained that earlier. If you hit view, you'll see your serial number, and then that is what you then just copy on the external browser, because you can't copy on the internal browser, and you won't have the internal until you properly install VP4 again. But if you download that file, that is the full VP4. That is online and offline that you're downloading, not just offline only. And that should solve your problem. That should take care of that. Right, where are we? But I think the other thing, Larry, if you've got, if you uninstall VP4, most people have, what do you call it, CCleaner. If you uninstall VP4 and you find those app data folders, anything that says Celeris, Virtual Pool 4, Virtual Pool 4 Online, get rid of them, and then do a CCleaner. And CCleaner will find, should find those existing registry values and stuff, and it'll gut them out. And once you've done that, then do the download and install. But Virtual Pool 4 is a bit temperamental, you know, here and there, especially with antivirus software. That's the other thing you need to do. Make sure you get your antivirus switched off when you're installing VP4. You can get away with that with modern games, but VP4's a bit kind of dodgy. You've read that CCleaner is no good anymore. I've still got it. Gets rid of all your cookies and everything. And meanwhile, Snake Eyes is keeping. This is exactly how I was saying it has to go. Snake Eyes has to keep this gap until he gets to double figures if he can. So what is it you've read is no good about it, Larry? Because I don't think there's many other good alternatives to it. None that I've came across so far. Oh, that's what I meant to ask you guys, and maybe you'll know. Malware bytes that I installed malware bytes, what was it, 10 days ago when I've had all of these problems and found those Trojans with it. And when you download malware bytes, I've got a question. I'm on this trial at the moment, and it seems to be that the only malware bytes that you have is this trial version. That after 14 days, can somebody confirm or deny that after 14 days malware bytes is now dead and buried unless you actually register for it and then therefore end up starting to pay money, or are you still allowed to use a free version of it? Does anybody know? I'm not aware of. I mean, when you're installing CCleaner, there might, I don't know, I can't recall if there was a pop-up saying, do you want to check this, or you always have to make sure that when you're installing these things that you read the stuff that you're saying yes to, because sometimes they're trying to install a dodgy toolbar or something daft, but I'm not aware of that with CCleaner. And you know how often CCleaner updates. I mean, it updates roughly every month. Oh, that's 4 years ago, Larry. That's bound to have been taken care of. I would doubt that that's right. So you reckon that once my 14 days is up with malware bytes, that's me down the pony, the Swanee, I should say. Yeah. No, I would reckon that's an old. And it might well be genuine enough that happened, but I reckon CCleaner now is probably well guarded against that, I would think. But say I've had no problems with it. I've used it for years. It's always been a good little tool. Well, anyway, once my trial period's expired, then bye to malware bytes. It seems to be. Aye, but you see, you've used it for yonks, but have you always used like a free version? Well, I don't like Windows anything, to be frank with you. Kim, I don't like about Windows. Well, I tell you what pisses me off about Windows. I'll tell you straight away. I've never used Windows browser. I've never. I did when I first got a PC. How many years ago was that? I've never used Windows browser. I hate that Bing search engine crap. And I hate the fact that Microsoft take a liberty every time they do an update in your PC that they go and install this crap again. Now I've uninstalled Microsoft Edge a dozen times, and then every time Microsoft does an update, lo and behold, you're dumped with this shit again. And I'm fed up uninstalling it. And it's really annoying that Microsoft take a liberty in doing that with the bloody thing when you don't want to work with their browser. I'm on Chrome at the moment. I'm on Chrome, and it works fine. I tried that Opera for a little while. In fact, I've still got Opera installed. I actually only, the only time I go to Opera if I'm on a certain website, and it's mostly when I'm trying to get a stream. Certain streams are blocked off by certain browsers, and usually you can get in it using the VPN on Opera. Anyway, Matt Clark is back to within one. Snake Eyes still clinging onto that lead, and Matt's brake is dry, and immediately Snake Eyes has a very good table. If he can drop this 2 in, I don't know whether it is the same. You know something, I don't want to find out whether it is the same as Chrome. My point is, they shouldn't be bloody continue to install it. You know, every time Windows do an update, you know that they should do? They should come up with a pop-up and saying, right, we want to install this. You know, the one we had the other day was a critical, you know, it's obviously an antivirus thing. Well, there's a bad miss by Snake Eyes, and that's a poor one, with a wide open table begging to be ran out, and that's a weak one. Microsoft should come up with a pop-up that says, here's critical update KB, whatever the hell the number is, and you check the box and say, right, we'll have that one. Do you want us to install Microsoft Edge? Yes or no? No. Because they do these damn things behind your back, and I don't think that's right. That's the sickening thing about Microsoft. They stick the shit on your PC that you don't bloody well want. All you want is the critical updates for either, you know, loopholes and things that the hackers can get into, virus updates, that sort of stuff. That's all you should be interested in. I don't want their crap. I don't want Bing. I don't want Edge. And I, you know, every time I get a PC, I got everything Microsoft out. Because I'm never going to use it. Let's be honest. You know, I've never. And the other thing is these things as well. That's when you're installing software. A lot of these bits of software, do you want to make Bing as your default browser and crap like that? That's why you've always got to never confirm anything and bash through something without looking at it and reading at it. Well, this is now getting a bit significant because I gave Snake Eyes a target, and the target was to get to 10. We're still having a lead. Get to 10 first. If he's going to then build on that lead, and it's now all square. And that's a good break. That is a pretty solid break. Now, what went in, the 5 ball's gone, but no great shot in the 1 here. This is a tester, but he's done the right thing, looking to get cover. Now, here's a safety shot on. I mean, again, my natural instinct sees the safety line. You've got to get the line and get the spin to avoid that 3 and get down. Well, he's banked the 2. The cue ball, not the 1 ball, sorry, and that was poor. He had to get that thin, because what you're trying to do there is send the 1 to the rail and bring it into the 9 and bring the cue ball around here and down here. That was, again, poor. I don't know what he was trying to achieve there. I don't care what Bing's part of. I don't want to be part of it. That's basically it. I use Google as my search engine. Always double check what your default programs are. I don't use any obscure fancy search engines. I just stick with what I know. Well, this might be significant because that poor safety from Snake Eyes. Well, this cue ball, is it leaking away? Well, it's leaked away far enough that this is going to have to be potted into a blind pocket. Cue ball squirting up the table here. And that's not a bad finish on the 7. He's just looking at the line of the 8 ball, doing the right thing. And so, from 8-6 behind, Matt Clark is looking very likely to be in the lead now mainly for the first time in a match, really getting to this stage. And there we go again, another dry break. But again, the most important thing here for Snake Eyes is there's an inviting one ball. He's got to hit this to keep this cue ball in control, that he can still see the two, and he's managed to hold it. And now has to try and find that gap between the 3 and the 8 ball. And that's well played. Going to be handicapped here over the 4 though. But it's just a simple drop in. You know, no acrobatics needed, just drop the 3 in and get off the rail is the most important thing with this shot. Make sure you're off the rail. He could have done with being off the rail a bit more, because now he's in a dilemma. The angle means the cue ball wants to squirt away when you make the pot, and then if you look where the 5 is, the 5 is very tight to drop past the 7. So now he's in a dilemma as to what to do here. If he's going to try and baby this in and still have a half decent cut in this 3, he's maybe going to be hard pushed. Well, he's managed to hold it, and that's not bad. The work's still to be completed though. He's again straightish on this 5 ball. Can he play a brutal stunny draw shot here and try and get somewhere over towards the 9 and leave a high cut? What was that? Has just sent you how to keep Malwarebytes after your trial. Spotted it in a forum. Aye, well I've spotted loads of dodgy stuff on YouTube as well about that. And what you've sent me sounds dodgy. Wherever you've sent it on Facebook. Aye, well, I might look at it, but as to whether I take your advice on it, I'll let you be the guinea pig. You be the guinea pig and then let me know. Well, Snake Eyes is now in a pressure situation in this rack, because this is one of these ones where you have to just pick the line and have all faith that you've chosen the right one. And again, the other worry is where the 8 ball is. So there's 2 things of concern here. Making the pot and making sure that you try and get this cue ball running, or leave the long bank, one of the 2. Well, he's got it running, and that is excellent. And this again just sends the message back to Matt that he's still capable of getting a job done given the chance. If he can get up the table, and that's given him the best chance of all. Poker straight on the 9 ball, and we're going to be back all square. And that is a straight rack, although the balls, in fact, it'd be good if we had a fixed camera that actually will just look down in the pack so you could see if you could pick any slight difference in the rack. But I heard the ball going in. 6 ball is gone, and well, there's a great chance again here to get big distance on this 1 ball. Send the 1 ball that way, and send the cue ball with a bit of help and spin down that way, somewhere down there. If he's going all out for the cut, you know what I say, if you make your mind up and you get it, you've got to get on that too and take it out. But there's a good safety on here. I mean, it's just crying out to be played properly. Let's see if he's thinking about it. he's gone all out for the bank. He's got on the 2, but the most important thing, well, I think he's got on the 2. Maybe not, but that doesn't matter. Well, he's got lucky in a way. He's hung the 1. But it's not difficult for Matt to deal with. He'll easily cope with that problem. In fact, I think he fancies trying to kick it off the rail, but I think the safer way is just to play the jump. But I think the best way, though, to get the cue ball moving is this way. He's got the spin, and he's actually got it too well. He wanted to hit that more half ball so that the spin would do its stuff and bring the cue ball into play. And now he's got the 5 as a stopper. If he can hit it into it, he can get big distance, and that's well played. And it's awkward. This is awkward, right over the 7 ball, and got to try and get a flush edge in that 2 ball. This is not easy to play, but again, got it thin enough. But just not getting the length. You need that bit more length on those shots. And of course that involves a bit more weight. And if you get that 2 ball wrong, you're bringing the 2 ball right into play. Now this is another one. Now this is a bit more testy. If you get it really thin and have the spin on it as well, you're going to get around that angle and get down this way and send the 2 ball to sort of here. And you may well have a chance of getting cover, but you've got to get it really thin, and you must have that left hand English on it. Well, he's gone all out for the pot. Big commitment there. And you know what I say about winding your neck in and playing the percentage. He's gone all out to be a hero and had a chance of getting a good safety. And sometimes it's difficult to resist. Well, I'm surprised that's ended up 5-3. I mean, I thought it'd be, you know, it would be like 8-1 or something like that. 5-3's not a bad result for that other fella, because I think he'd be well happy to get 3 frames after the. Well, the first session's got another frame to go yet, hasn't it? They play 9. And then they'll play the remaining 10 if needed tonight. Meanwhile, from that choice of shot there by Snake Eyes, going all out for the thin cut at distance in the 2, it looks as if it could be Matt going back into the lead. Well, he hasn't got into that. These are another really difficult shot on this 5. And Snake Eyes lives again. Now, what can he do here? Let's have a good look in the pocket. Well, it's not something you can trifle with. You've got to get right on the point there to make sure you hit that 5. Because you're trying to see, that's where the mistake was going to happen. He's trying to use it, the angle, but if you don't go up and you don't have a good look and see how deep that ball is into the pocket, you're going to hit the point and you're going to run straight across it and not go near it. And Snake Eyes has fell into the trap there. And that's a chance gone. A vital chance there for Snake Eyes to get to double figures before Matt did. And he's looking at drifting away here. But that was the classical VP4 mistake by not checking how deep that ball is into the pocket. And lo and behold, the commentator's curse has done it again. The 7's around the angles. Admittedly, it isn't too inviting here for Snake Eyes, but I'll tell you what, he wants to make the most of this. Well, I think, you know, that's where you make that decision, Larry. the first decision is going up and having a look top down and seeing how deep the ball's in the pocket and whether you can try and use that angle. And then the second one is, if you don't think it, then you do the draw. That way you know you're not making that mistake. Again, it's so difficult to judge the draw from deep in a pocket and get that cue ball back out. Well, nobody wants to win this rack. But Matt has had a go, Snake Eyes has had a go, and Snake Eyes has got an excellent bank on here. I mean, this has got to go 9 times out of 10, this 7 ball. And that is always going to be in. I mean, that's a perfect bank. You couldn't ask for any better. It's so perfect when it's sitting like that just off the diamond. You know, your natural instinct tells you it's going to go in. It's such an easy bank. And now, again, it's about making the most of it. And so, if this 9 ball goes in, the target that I set for Snake Eyes is going to eventually come true and get into double figures before Matt. And now you want the bonus of a ball and a shot to try and build up a momentum and try and apply that pressure. The deeper you can into the match, the better. And that 9 ball, very adjacent to the corner pocket. The 7 ball has gone in, the cut and the 1 is on. And we've got a quick rack, and this is possibly going to work out exactly the way you'd want it. Maybe not the 9 ball in the break, but not a difficult one. But can Snake Eyes get out into the table and still see the 3 ball? I don't think he's hit that anywhere near any length of pace to get up the table. That had to be smacked in to get up to here to at least be able to have a go at the combo. And now he's in trouble. And where's the cue ball going? Oh dear. Well, there's a sucker punch if ever I've seen it. Oh, well. Well, I think Gloria just get that typed out as Snake Eyes managed to find the best way to scratch in that shot. Because now that inviting 3-9 combo that was sitting there waiting all the time, yep, she jinxed it. And it's given MC Clarkey, Matt Clark, the chance to square the match, and we're 10-all. Well, it's building up. I'm not quite excited yet, but you'll soon know when I am. And this time Snake Eyes looking for distance again. Now, is Matt going to be enticed by that? Well, I reckon he is. He's going to have a pop at this. Let the cue ball run. Ride his luck. And cut that 1 in. Or is he not? Well, is there that little bit of doubt? Well, there's not if you can play a decent safety, and that's decent enough. That's also how to apply the pressure. Get a good safety in. These balls are spread very nice. The only sort of worry would be the 6 ball. Mainly because it's fairly close to the rail, but what you want is an adjacent next ball. So you've got the 3, the 4. There's no 5, the 5 balls up there. Now that's the worry. And in the meantime, Snake Eyes again struggling to work out what would be a decent safety. Well, they definitely need to. They definitely need to go to the tactical book of pool, if there is such a thing, and finding a better line for safeties. Certainly Snake Eyes needs to today. Played a few weak ones, played 1 or 2 good ones. This is not exactly a great position. on the 1. And it goes though. So a quick reminder, we have 3 winner side matches today. This is well, we actually had 4, but basically now at a reasonable hour. The Interchange X stub match has gone ahead at 1 AM this morning. We've got this match today, which started at 12 noon. We're now an hour and 24 minutes into it, roughly. We've also got a one-loss side match, which is at 3 o'clock, so that's in 95 minutes' time, 3 PM British Summer Time. VP Mongoose against, who the hell is it again? Mr. Strocum, is it? That's at 3 PM, race to 13. And then the big match today, with the greatest of respect to LS3 in brackets. The big match today is between Bill and Mal at 6 PM, and that match will cross over the final match today, which is between LS3 and Bedhead, which is due to start at 7 o'clock, but we'll keep a tab on it, on what's happening, and then if there's any room left, we might catch the end of that match. Well, my intention was that when this match finishes, we'll kill the stream. I'll go and have a break, and then I'll be back for the one at 3 o'clock. I probably won't get much of a break though. Well, this is a problem. He's got too much angle in this 8 ball, and he's going to run into the 9 and take a risk here. This is where luck has to be on your side, and luck isn't on his side. It's going to be a dodgy cut and an even dodgier bank, because there's no good bank on here, so it's all out for the cut, and that's way offline. Now, what did I tell you about the angle in that 8 ball? And it's given Snake Eyes the chance to keep the lead. Well, that could be well, it wasn't a blunder, it's just the fact that there was no way of avoiding the 9 ball from the angle he had in the 8, and then he didn't get lucky with a hit on the 9. And Snake Eyes is feeling all the better for it, because he retains his lead. Tried to scratch in the break, but a couple of balls in the break, and a testy 1 ball to keep going, and it's got to be medium pace. Just pot the 1, have enough pace off the rail, out for the 2 in that gap between the 6 and 5. It's not a big ask, it just has to be played properly, and he's overhit it. There's the problem. You see, you've just got to control that pace. Now there's the huge area to get into there, you know, that chasm of space, and about controlling the pace, and he's managed to find the only ball on this side that you're going to lock yourself behind. He's got plenty of room to jump, but he shouldn't have been there. And now, of course, the cue ball is going to have enough momentum to stay into the table for a shot in the 4. Well, that's probably the best outcome. He's missed the pot in the 2, and it's gone safe. Now, that chicken fried rice, is that last night's chicken fried rice, or is that a proper self-constructed chicken fried rice? The fact that you're saying that it's in the wok would suggest that you're going to be making it yet. Because it's not the first time I've had a chicken fried rice on a Saturday morning. Back in the day. You know, I've had plenty of Chinese for breakfast. I don't know about anybody else, but I've had loads where, you know, there's been far too much to finish on the night, and then it gets nuked in the microwave next morning. Well, that's a good shot. And a good chance now to just keep it on level terms here. Oh, I mean, there's no way I would ever see a Chinese go to waste. If I can't eat it all in the night, it ain't going in any bin. There's only one receptacle it's going into eventually, and that's my stomach. So it gets covered over, left in the microwave overnight, nuked in the morning, and I have it for breakfast with a cup of coffee. Job done, not a problem. Oh dear. Well, is that going to be a crucial miss on the 9? The old nerves are jangling now. And Snake Eyes has an open invitation to help himself to a 2-rack lead. We've still got a fair way to go, but if there's any way that Snake Eyes can capitalise on that, it's right now with a ball and a shot and a run out, or a 9 ball and a break. That's the order of convenience here. If you get anything like that, and the chance to stretch the lead, but it ain't going to happen. One of my colleagues, at work, she's got 2 jobs. She works part-time in Tesco, but she only, during the week, she works from 6 o'clock in the morning to 10:15, and she does picking up until 10:15, and then away she goes home. But at night, in the early evenings up to probably maybe 10 at night or 10:30, she works in a Chinese. She takes the phone calls and then, hands out all the takeaways. Well, there's nothing like a good old-fashioned Scottish Chinese. It's as traditional as haggis. I mean, we've had the Chinese that there's one. Well, and the only reason I don't get from him now is he's too expensive. But he's been there for, it must be 45 years, when this little local shopping centre was built, just up the road from me, and he's been there since day one. Since the place opened, he's the only premises that's been there since day one. There was a hotel there as well. That's been razed to the ground. There was a paper shop. It's long gone. The paper shop that's long gone is now a what do you call it? Domino's pizza place. But there's a bookmaker that's changed hands over the years. But the little Chinese place has been there for 45 years since the place was built, and he still makes a good living. It's just that I don't get from him anymore because his prices are too steep. I've got other alternatives. But I've been eating Chinese since the first day he opened, and the very first thing I ever got out of Chinese was barbecued spare ribs. That was my very first thing. It wasn't actually a meal. It was just basically that. I think that was all I could afford at the time, and it was barbecued spare ribs, and they were delicious. And I've basically had one every week for the last 40 odd years. Well, this is a vital rack in the context of the whole match. More so now for Matt Clark, but just as much for Snake Eyes. Because, as I said at the beginning before the match started, Snake Eyes will have a chance if he can cut out the mistakes and if he starts taking these chances. And he's taken enough of them to get that little lead. Is he going to be able to capitalise and stretch away as we head towards the finishing line? Well, that must be, what time's that? It's what, 1:30 in the afternoon, so that must mean it's approaching midnight Aussie time for Redback, who's joined us, unless it's another Brian Smith from somewhere else in the world. Good afternoon. Oh, well, the 9-ball's not on the rail. But look at where the 5-ball is. That's killed position for Snake Eyes. And now looking for the thin right edge, or is he trying to just kill it dead? Yeah. That's not bad. 10:30 at night. Well, it's all out for the cut for Matt. And is that one going to hurt? If Snake Eyes can see any of it, I don't think he can. Well, I think he can jack up and certainly chip it in. He can certainly chip it in off the rail. Yeah, he can just get, in fact, he can get to it direct. And I can't see where this is going to go wrong. All he needs to do is just stop that cue ball right there, and he'll see the 7. And it's looking very likely that Snake Eyes is going to get a 3-rack lead. Well, there'll be nothing on the telly at this time of night in Australia, because all you're going to get lumbered with is Prince, what's his face's funeral. Because it's kicked off, I think. For all I know, it might be over, because I've not been paying any attention to it. No, Snake Eyes usually only appears when there's these tournaments on. That's not going to get to a rail. It's not got to the rail, and look at the 9-ball. Oh dear, what a big mistake there from Matt Clark. It's a 1-9 combo for a 4-rack lead, and it's got to go, and that's a big blunder. Yeah, I think Snake Eye's problem in getting deeper into this tournament is simply that he doesn't play online enough. He doesn't get that much competition. 9-ball in the break as well now. Oh dear, now it's a tall order, because the match is now running away from Matt Clark. And it's all falling into shape here for Snake Eyes. 6-ball in the break. Cue ball running down, brushed onto by the 4, but still on the 1. Now, does he want to just draw back into the table? You know, if he stuns into the table like there, he'll be able to play the cut on the 2, but he's still no great idea. Well, I don't think he's gone enough. He's not gone enough. Yeah. He hasn't gone far enough up the table. And he's trying to lock the cue ball up. But all of a sudden, you know, barely got a sentence out there that's 5 racks the difference now for Snake Eyes. Yeah, he's a very capable player with a lack of table time, and again, that's all down to, you know, the obvious stuff, family commitments, work, everything else that happens nowadays. But more than capable of giving McClarkey problems, given the chance. And, well, if ever there's a better time to prove that you're worth staying in the winner's side, now's the time to divvy up. Because he's now getting a full test to see if he can escape this defeat in this winner's side. And Snake Eyes just has to keep things tight and bide his time, because the one person that has to force the game here is MC Clarkey, he's the one that has to produce the goods. And having to do that puts more pressure on and more likelihood of mistakes. And that's going to squirt around. It's going to entice Snake Eyes for the cut. Now, this, I might not even be interested because the cue ball's running up the table. He's just trying to hide it again, which is the wise thing to do. Got to wait in a better opportunity and a shot in that too, which is going to be beneficial to you. And there was no point in trying to cut that too, because you were going to be never anywhere good on the 3. And Matt's jumped off the table. And Snake Eyes has been duly handed that opportunity. Summer gear, and you stay in the East Coast of England. What's that? A pair of shorts and a snorkel. See you later. And that's dead on the 3. Now, is there enough room to work this cue ball forward past the 5? I think there is. Plenty of room. Well, I say plenty of room. He's managed to run into it, but that's actually done no harm because it's pushed the 5 well into play for this cue ball just to come down the right side. And then the biggest problem is the 7. Oh, he just barely got the 4 into the hole. Well, now it's got to be loads of top, bit of top and inside to run it off the rails and into the table. Well, he's not really put enough on it because he's going to end up way long on this, which is another Chinese restaurant that I remember. Way long. Yeah, that shot there should have been played where he was coming into the table. This is a toughie. And if the cue ball comes across, it'll either run behind the 9 and leave the 8 into the left middle, or run into it. And it's run behind it, but where's the cue ball going? Oh! Well, it's just a simple, I say simple, dead weight roll into the middle. And just roll through, and you're on the 9 for a 6 rack lead. Way long, and how long? Well, this match, you know, remember how many times I said that it was important that Snake Eyes could preserve the lead until at least he got to double figures. And remember, the match was at 9-all at the time, and Snake Eyes got let out of jail and managed to pinch that rack that took him to 10-9. And then since then, everything's virtually gone his way. You know, it's now suddenly developed into a big 6 rack lead, and it is a tall order for Matt Clark to get back into it now. And Snake Eyes doesn't want to be involved in being an assistant in Matt Clark's recovery, so he doesn't want to start doing numpty things. Keep it sensible. And again, well, no sooner have I got those words out than he's done a numpty thing. Trying to get cute. Hasn't got the ball to a rail, and has given Matt Clark the open invitation to steal the rack. Well, there's certain things you don't want to be remembering at the end of a match. You don't want to be remembering that shot there when you've had a 6 rack lead and you're giving your opponent a free go to get one back when he shouldn't really have been having a free go. You don't want to sit in maybe, 25, 30, 40 minutes time finding out that you know, he's come back and stole the match because of it. Those are sore ones to take. And these are very difficult. Dead straight in the 6. It's just got to be the big heave-ho draw and get the cue ball down the table. And that's the safest route, albeit from a big distance. And, you know, this distance and tight on the rail, you've got to run the cue ball to get it off that rail and in behind the 8 for down into this pocket. And that will do. Good afternoon to Cobra. And then goes the 8. So it's a recovery in this rack that Matt Clark should never have had. And if Matt's break starts to work, things might get interesting. But it hasn't. The break is dry. This is not a particularly great shot to be playing to try and get it safe. Now, if he's trying to brush the 1, which is basically all he can do, he's only ever going to try and run in behind the 2. Be far better picking somewhere to push. Well, he's put Matt in the same trouble, so Snake Eyes is going to get the shot he doesn't want, because I don't think Matt's going to take this. I think he's going to send this back to Snake Eyes and say, well, you have a go. I don't like the look of this. He's still thinking about it, but I don't see there's an awful lot to think about unless he can come up with the goods. And he's done the right thing, giving it back to Snake Eyes, and Snake Eyes now has no option but to try and just tickle this 1 ball. Well, he's actually found a gap around the 2, and that he'll take that every day. That's it, ended up perfect. 1 ball stuck to the bottom rail, right on the middle diamond, and perfectly safe. And again, the 1 ball is squirted out from cover. It's given Snake Eyes an easy safety, easy to keep sending 1 up the table. Well, he's going all out for the bank. He's going all out for it. And again, when you make that decision, you have to deliver it. How's that 5 ball? Let's have a look at that 5. Well, it's off the rail. And he's got the angle on the 3, and he may well be running into that 7. It's going to be difficult to avoid it. He's avoided it. He's sitting not too bad. Wrong side of the 4. But again, if you get over aggressive with this shot, you'll play the pot on the 4 and you'll get the big draw to come to the rail and come out, but you could end up going right across and blocking yourself off with the 8 ball on this shot, depending on how much you get into it. It's the big deep draw and the big thump. Yeah, he's got the spin, he's gone in the narrow side. Where's the cue ball going? He's okay, and that's worked out perfect. And this is just a little kill and a punch. Well, that's a kind of half-hearted effort there, but it's eventually got to the pocket, but it was trying to be a wee bit too cute again. But it got there. I bet Hugh, what's that I've just read? I bet Hugh has still got his Donny t-shirts. Who's Donny? But Donny Osmond. Donny t-shirts and shorts. You're going to have to write that again in English so I can understand it. Where's the cue ball going? It's going to be long. Is it? I've never heard of them. You know, I've never heard of these cheap brands. Well, safest route is to go, just go forward far enough to get it as straight as you can like that. But look at this unbelievable miss on the 8 ball. Again, that's totally focused on where he's wanting to leave this for the 9. And he's forgotten about the 8 ball. And it's very tight on that point. Pretty tight on it. And Matt doesn't fancy the chip. He's given it a good look. Let's have a look close at it. It's hard to see the ball in the pocket there, but he's going for the kick. And it ain't there. He's got the touch, but he's hit the rail too soon. And Snake Eyes is out of jail again. I don't think I've ever been in Sports Direct, which is probably one reason I've never heard of it. I've never heard of that brand. It's probably their own brand made in China. Well, Snake Eyes now. Again, that is a great escape. You know, he's dollied the 8 ball, missed it, and it's gone very awkward. And then he's managed to pinch it again. And the 7 balls going in. There's 2 balls went in. The 4's gone. The 7's gone. He's no shot in the 1. And that 8 ball makes the middle pocket a big pocket. But he can't get to the 1 enough. He's going all out for the bank though. But is he going to be able to see the 2? Is it going to squirt past the 8? Nope. So we are an hour and 10 minutes away from the 1 lost side match this afternoon at 3 PM British Summer Time. VP Mongoose against Mr. Strocum, I believe. Well, that 1 ball thought about dropping there. It's funny how you can be sort of in a match to a certain point and then suddenly things just seem to get away from you, and that's what's happened for MC Clarkey. That 9-all position that he was in, the chance that he had to take the lead instead of Snake Eyes getting to 10 first, it turned out that there was a lot more significance to it than we first thought. I thought that Snake Eyes had to get to double figures first to apply the pressure, and in the end that rack pivoted on the basis that Snake Eyes ended up pinching it when Matt Clark could very well have won it. And since that, really, he's just drifted away rack after rack, albeit not the tidiest way of doing it, but he had a golden break that helped that situation, and now he's only 2 away from the next round. Well, problems on the 5 ball, and again he's left himself really only in the half decent position he could get to here to try and keep this visit going. Vital. It has to go, and he's slightly the wrong side of the 6. So which again it just requires more work in the cue ball to get out onto that 8. And he's feeling the pressure because he's overcut the 6, ran into the 8, and I think he's left the 6 on. Yes, he has. And it's not a difficult one. Just drag that 6 in, just to take some of the pace off the cue ball. He doesn't want to be running near the 9. You just want to sort of just drag off it like that, and that makes it simple. Didn't want to come maybe quite as far up the table, but there shouldn't be a problem. And Snake Eyes, well, it's a straight in 9, and he duffed up an 8 ball, so I'm not saying anything until it goes in. And it has gone in, and so Snake Eyes is on the hill, 1 away, 18-11. And it's in the end looking as if it's going to look on paper like a comfortable result, but there are racks that could have gone either way. But the important thing is more of them, a lot more of them have went in Snake Eyes' favour than they have MC Clarkie's. And Snake Eyes, the 7 ball in the break, shot in the 1, the 2 balls in an ugly place. We won't worry about that as long as he can see it to do something with it. Now he can try a cheeky little stun and send that cue ball as close to the 3 as he can and keep that 2 ball safe. Well, he's gone for the little draw, but 2 balls come up the table, and that is potable. But it's again a pressure pot. You know, you make one mistake now, you're losing the match. And he just couldn't hold it for the 3. Now, well, I think Snake Eyes is lining up to try and jump this and cut it. That's exactly what he has in mind. And can he keep the cue ball on the table? That's the question. And the answer is no, he can't. So Matt Clark played the safety and gets the reward and has ball in hand. Can he recover one more? Now, the worst thing that will happen here is scratching in the middle pocket, but he's well away from that. And so it's going to be another one back. Or at least it should be. And now, how's your luck in the break? Ball on the break. And a shot. But look at that. Is that the 5 ball there? I'm leaning back in my chair. That 5 ball has just become a big hindrance here. Because it means that the 2 ball can't be got at. Really, I don't think it can. And he's just trying to manoeuvre things. That needs to spin more. And it's not quite got there, I don't think. I don't think he can see enough of that. Nope. You'd need to convince me that he can see enough of that to pot it. And now he's just trying to get lucky. Well, the lucky part of it is that the 7 is now guarding the 3. And Snake Eyes can play a bit of inside, and if he can try and avoid the 5 and come down this right side far enough to see the 3, And he's managed that. He's going to squirt up to see the 3. But I don't think he can play a combo. And how does he get out of there? How does he get out of there and keep things safe with this shot? Now, even if you try to push that to the rail and hit it quite firm, is there enough room to kick into the 6 and that 3 ball still to drop in the pocket? He might be trying to convince himself of that, but he's putting, yeah, he was trying that, and all that's happened is the 3 ball just ended up getting spinning imparted on it, and it's just hung. So it's another chance, and again it is back to the wall, no miss pull, no miss, and that 9 ball is just a fraction off the rail. This is where it has the potential to go pear-shaped here. If that 8 ball wasn't there, not a problem. The fact that the 8 ball sitting where it is makes it a problem, especially with the angle that's on the 6, because the cue ball's got to run, or he's going to try and dig and get lucky. He's run into the 8 and he's now got no shot, and this could be Matt Clark's last shot here. I mean, it's not easy either way. He's all out for the bank. He's missed it. The 7's back in play, and Snake Eyes has bided his time, but the chance has come to clinch the match, and all he has to do is just run that 8 ball in and not scratch in the middle pocket if he's trying to come right across. He can certainly run out into the table, maybe check it a bit just to stop it running away too low. Yeah, I think he might have done that. But anyway, he should have had a good look down the rail, see that there is a little gap, so you've just got to get it flush and nip it. But this for the match. And in it goes. And that is a very good win for Snake Eyes. Because I always had a sneaking suspicion he could not necessarily produce a shot, but certainly take the racks given enough chances. And he's done the job. And Snake Eyes goes through to the next round. And MC Clarkey is heading over to join a few other nasty characters on that one loss side. It is not a pleasant place to be, because that's what it ends up being like in a tournament like this. Doesn't matter where you look, you're going to head for trouble at some point. And so Snake Eyes lies in wait of the winner of Mr. Bill and Mal, which is at 6 PM tonight. But meantime, I've got about 55 minutes before the next match, and the next match is going to be, where the hell is it? It is going to be that one there between VP Mongoose and Mr. Strocum at 3 PM. So in about 57 minutes time, that's when they're due to go. And until then, folks, I am going to bid you a good afternoon and hope you can join me again, maybe not in an hour's time, but certainly for the big one at 6 PM tonight between Bill and Mal. And I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are, and I hope you can join us, and I will see you again in a bit. So take care.